Welcome to Unity with Pam, with your host, Pam Willis-Hovey.
Hello and welcome to Unity with Pam. My name is Brooklyn Jones, and today I am interviewing the Chief District Attorney, Alonzo Whitaker. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine, Brooklyn, and how are you?
Good.
Good.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes, you may.
How did you become a district attorney?
Okay. I am the Chief Assistant District Attorney, and I was hired by our district attorney, which is Miss Julia Slater. She is an elected official, and she is voted on every 4 years by the people of Columbus. And once she was elected as district attorney, I was hired as her chief assistant.
Do you like your job?
Yes, I do. It is a job that can bring much satisfaction. Many times we are looked at as the knight in shining armor, or the one that's riding in on the white horse to the rescue. We handle cases where many people have been hurt or victimized, and we try to right a wrong that has taken place.
Is it hard doing your job?
Well, it can be, because many times you're dealing with victims who have had property taken or have been injured themselves or have a loved one who's lost their lives. And so when you take that case to trial, many times they're reliving that incident. Also, it can be very hard when you have to send a young person to jail for many years. And so you're dealing with a lot of people's lives and a lot of people's feelings and emotions. So that can be difficult.
Do you have to take classes?
Okay. Yes, in order to be a district attorney, you have to be a lawyer first. And that requires that you go to undergraduate, get a 4-year degree, and then spend 3 more years in law school. But as a district attorney, we are also required to have so many hours each year of continuing legal education. And so in order to maintain your license, you have to go to class each year.
What do you do? What do you have to work with?
Okay. We have a lot of people to work with, especially in bringing a case to trial. We have to deal with victims who are the person who's injured. We have to deal with law enforcement who made the arrest. We have to deal with witnesses who saw what happened. We have to deal with court personnel, the clerks of court, the bailiffs of court, the security of the court, and we have to deal sometimes with expert witnesses. And so there's a number of pieces that go together in putting a case to trial.
Well, thank you, Mr. Alonzo Whitaker, for letting me interview you today.
Thank you, and you've been an excellent interviewer.
Next, we will have another student interviewing another guest.
Unity with Pam is being brought to you by these great sponsors.
Come into Chester's Barbecue for our world-famous mouth-watering ribs, smoked fresh on our grill daily. Or try one of our barbecue pork plates with fresh sides. Chester's has delicious sandwich combos to choose from that are sure to please. We also serve tempting home-cooked favorites. And don't forget to take home your own bottle of great sauce. Chester's Barbecue, serving the best food at the best price, with 3 locations to serve you.
Welcome to Unity with Pam, with your host, Pam Willis-Hovey.
Hello, we're back on Unity with Pam. My name is Damian Cobb, and I'll be interviewing Miss Julia Slater. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you today?
Well, first I'm going to start off with some basic little questions I do every time I interview. The first one is, what do you do as a job?
Okay, I'm the district attorney in this area.
What is a district attorney?
The district attorney's office is responsible for prosecuting people who've been accused of committing crimes. So if something has happened to you or a member of your family and somebody's hurt you or taken something from you, we're on the side of the person who's had something stolen or who's been hurt by someone else.
What college do you go to?
Well, I went to school here in Columbus and graduated from Hardaway High School. Then I went to college at Stevens College, which is in Columbia, Missouri. And then I went to law school at Washington and Lee University, which is in Lexington, Virginia.
Do you get to travel around the world as a district attorney?
I don't get to travel around the world, but I do get to travel. My circuit, which is where I work, has 6 counties. So I'm not just in Muskogee County. I also have Harris and Talbot County, Taylor, Marion, and Chattahoochee. So I have 6 counties, and I travel around to those different counties in order to make sure that we prosecute crimes in all of those counties.
What is the most important subject for district attorneys?
I think someone who wants to go into any kind of law, but being a district attorney as well, I think the most important subject is probably reading, because you do a lot of reading, and the more you read, the better you get at it. Reading is very important.
Lastly, what are the pros and cons of your job as being district attorney?
I think the biggest pro, probably, of being district attorney is representing people within the judicial system, so inside the courts, that wouldn't know what to do without an attorney. So children and other, even adults that don't know anything about the court system, we represent them and we can be their voice to make sure that their rights are protected. And I think probably the biggest con is when, even though we try our hardest, we don't feel like somebody is held accountable for what they've done. And that's what my office is really doing, is trying to hold people accountable if they've made mistakes.
Does that happen a lot when you make mistakes? Does it happen a lot when you think someone has done something but they originally have not done anything?
There are certainly instances where maybe the police arrest someone and it doesn't seem like it's the person that committed the crime. And there are instances where it is the right person and for some reason or another we don't feel like they're held accountable for what they've done. But usually the cases that we get, the police have arrested the right person.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That is all we have for our interview. We will be back with another person interviewing another person in Unity with Pam.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Pastor Willis.
And I'm co-pastor Emma Willis.
And we welcome you to be a part of our ministry. We have a wonderful illustrated teaching and preaching we want to share with you. And also we sharing with you our dance ministry and also our choir and our outreach ministry. And we have a wonderful Sunday school. And we welcome you to come and be a part of this ministry. God bless you.
Welcome to Unity with Pam, with your host, Pam Willis Hovey.
Welcome back with Unity with Pam. Today I will be interviewing Marshall Gregg, Countyman. Hi, my name is Jemiah Brinkley. It is nice to be speaking with you today. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Could you tell me about how you became the country marshal?
The county marshal, sure. I was elected in 2004 by a majority of the people, and I've been in office for the past 12 years.
What are some of the responsibilities of the marshal's office?
The marshal's office carries out the precepts, the criminal and civil precepts of the municipal court. We handle the civil process such as evictions, levies, 5As, and we also do criminal work also.
Does the job ever become dangerous?
It does at times. We don't have the luxury of someone calling us and telling us what the nature of their emergency is. We carry out the precepts of the court, so we actually go and knock on people's doors not knowing what's on the other side. So it does get a little scary sometimes.
I know that you founded the Junior Marshal program. Could you tell me more about that?
Sure. The Junior Marshals program is actually a 2-year program. It's for 7th and 8th grader students. We focus on citizenship, leadership, education, a little fun, and teamwork.
Do you work with the DARE program?
We actually have a DARE program established in the Marshal's office. We have Waddell School and Reese Road School.
When you are done being a marshal, what are your plans?
I plan on going into the ministry. I'm a full-time theology student, and I'm going to answer my calling, and I want to be prepared for that calling. My job is simply a ministry now. I help people now. I go out and I feed the hungry. Being marshal, you get to help people in all sorts of ways.
Do you find your work very rewarding?
I do. Anytime I can wake up and know that I'm going to make a difference in somebody's life that day, it's very, very rewarding. I have 3 young boys, and everything that I do, I try to prepare a path for them. So my job is very rewarding.
Great. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. Thank you. Now we will have another interview.
Unity with Pam is being brought to you by these great sponsors.
I'm a fan of this plateau.
I'm a fan of things that go.
I'm a fan of all things kitschy.
I'm a fan of Lionel Richie.
Hello. I'm a fan of DQ. I'm a fan of DQ Bakes.
DQ Bakes.
I'm a fan of warm ciabatta.
I'm a fan of cold and hotter.
Melty snacks on my snack break.
I'm a fan of DQ Bakes.
New artisan-style sandwiches, snack melts, and desserts, hot out of the oven and only at your DQ. This is fan food, not fast food.
I'm a fan!
Welcome to Unity with Pam, with your host, Pam Willis Hovey.
Okay, I'm here on Unity with Pam interviewing Sheriff John Darr. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you today?
Pretty good too. Okay, what do you do for a living?
I have the honor and privilege of serving as the Sheriff of Muskogee County.
What inspired you to do what you do?
You know, I think like a lot of people, you know, growing up, my dad's retired military. I just, growing up, I wanted to somehow serve the community in some capacity, and had the opportunity to join the Sheriff's Office in 1988, and I've been with the Sheriff's Office for 28 years. Just really kind of like a lot of people, doing what I can to serve the community.
Do you like your job?
I love my job. I really do. It's about one of the most interesting jobs you can have, I think, sometimes, from the things you get to do as sheriff, the people you get to meet as sheriff, and some of the things you get to implement as sheriff.
How many deputies can you have at once?
We're allotted. We have about 317 officers, but that's deputies and correctional officers, and we have about 205 deputies right now.
Whoa. Did you have to go to college to be a sheriff?
That's an interesting question. When I started in 1988, you had to have 90-plus hours of college to become a deputy sheriff at that time. So yes, it's kind of like then I did have to have some college. Of course, now to be a deputy sheriff, you just need to have a high school diploma or a GED equivalent. So actually, it's a pretty interesting question.
Do you have any regards about both job-wise or any way else?
No, I think I've had an opportunity to do a lot of things, like I said, with the Sheriff's Office that I never thought I would. I mean, when you first start in the Sheriff's Office, I don't think most people think I'm going to be the sheriff one day. I mean, I'm sure there's some individuals that think that. But I was not one of those that when I first started. Of course, I was really young. I was 21 when I started with the Sheriff's Office. So I think, just think how things played out and how God led me in this direction, and that's kind of where I ended up. So, no, I don't have any regrets whatsoever. Like I said, I really do think it's, you really do. It is an honor and a privilege to serve in an elected official capacity, regardless what position it is.
Do you get a different pay grade between your ranks?
Yes, you do. There is pay grade differences between ranks from correctional officer all the way up to, I guess, what I do for a living.
That's all we have time for here on Unity with Pam. We'll be back with another scholar and another interviewee.
You do know the experts at Midas will tell you what needs fixing now and what can wait, right? Like, I don't know, brakes?
Of course I do.
Trust the Midas Touch for brakes, tires, oil, everything.
Welcome to Unity with Pam, with your host, Pam Willis-Hovey.
Good morning, this is the Unity with Pam show, and I will be interviewing Miss Daphne Cardona. Hello, how are you doing today?
Hi there. Hello.
I will be asking you some questions about your career and or personal life. Let's get started. Where do you work at, Miss Daphne?
Daphne.
Daphne?
Just like on Scooby-Doo. I actually own my own business. It's called Daffodil Designs. I do photography, graphic design. I do marketing and branding for companies.
Do you get to travel around?
I would like to say one day I will, but not at this time. I don't. I work a lot of hours from home.
Where did you go to school before becoming a Daffodil Designs owner?
Well, I graduated from high school in Florida, but I went to a local college here called CVCC.
How long have you had the job?
Well, I've done it on the side when I worked in the corporate world. I worked part-time with my business, growing it, and just recently I've gone out full-time doing it from home, and really enjoyed it.
What is branding and marketing?
Branding is giving a company its own identity. You know, any main company that you see out there in the world, it has its own unique look, and that kind of puts a stamp on it that that's theirs. So branding kind of gives it that unique look. It has a logo or a slogan, anything identifying that that's that unique company. Marketing is basically just letting people know that it exists.
Now, what are the pros and cons about owning Daffodil Designs?
I would say the pros is I am my own boss, which I love, and I get to make my own hours. I get to have flexibility in my schedule so I can be available for my children. And the cons is you're pretty much waiting to see when the work comes to you. That's not always fun.
And finally, do you have to go to school to be your own owner?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I always encourage that you go to school, just like I do my own children. I encourage them to get a college degree, but nowadays technology has given us tools that we can learn on our own without having to do that. But I still think you're at a better advantage if you can go to school first and learn as much as you possibly can. Makes it a little bit easier.
Okay. Thank you for letting me into you, Mr. Daphne Cardona.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. You can contact Miss Daphne at Daffodil Designs at 762-207-9683. We'll be back with another Unity with Pam scholar and interviewee.
The average home has more than 5 devices connected to the internet. Is your internet strong enough to keep up? At WOW, we can boost your internet with speeds up to 110 megabits per second. So you can handle it all and then some. That's WOW, not what you'd expect from a cable company.
Welcome to Unity with Pam, with your host, Pam Willis-Hovey.
Hello, my name is Jayla Powell, and I am interviewing Mr. Landon Birch. How are you, Mr. Birch?
Great. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you in charge of the American Youth Film Festival?
Yes, I'm the founding director of the American Youth Film Festival.
Do you like your job?
I love my job. It gives me an opportunity to meet people from all walks of life.
What are the pros and cons of your job?
the pros are we give children or youth the opportunity to make film, short stories, music videos, and we give them a platform to showcase their talents. We see so many kids that make film and put it on Facebook or Snapchat and YouTube. So we give them an opportunity to showcase their talents in an audience, and they get awards and they get judged. So it's a great opportunity. That's the pro. The con is, unfortunately, I can't reach every child that has that talent. Our children have such talent, and everybody's just not available or able to buy the equipment. So we try to make it as easy as possible by using just a cell phone, something as simple as a cell phone, and they can create film that way.
How many days a week do you work?
Actually, I work, it seems like 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Now that we're getting close to our second festival, I work pretty much anytime, over 8 hours. It's usually 10 to 12 hours a day preparing for the festival.
Do you work with children?
Yes, lots of children. Lots of children from the elementary school age to college age. We have different categories. We're going to screen approximately 50 film this year, and all of them are done by students.
Do you have any other jobs?
Yes, I also work for an after-school program, again, working with children. And I've done that for approximately 10 years.
That's all we have time for today. Thank you, Mr. Birch, for letting me interview you.
Thank you.
We will have another interview coming up.
For over 25 years, the Bug Patrol at All Star Pest Control has protected thousands of families' homes from pests and rodents. Although most treatments have no odor and are environmentally friendly, our high technology products and methods get absolute results.
And we guarantee it.
All Star Pest Control, over 25 years of guaranteed protection.
Hello, I'm here today with Miss Audrey. How was your?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. So, how was your day?
It was good. Good day, no complaints. Plus, I got to come here and talk to you, so it's good.
What do you do for a living?
I work at Aflac, and I am their general counsel, which is really their head lawyer for the corporation.
What inspired you to work at Aflac?
Well, I've been at Aflac for 20 years. I was already a lawyer when I got there. I was inspired to work at Aflac because I moved to Columbus and I wanted a job with the company. And I decided to become a lawyer when I was in college because one of my professors said, "I think you would be a good lawyer. You ask lots of questions." So I started to pursue law.
Do you like your job?
I do. I like it. It's challenging, and I love a challenge, and I love working for Aflac. It's a great company, so I do. I'm very happy there.
You kind of already answered this question, but did you have to go to college?
You do. If you want to be a lawyer, you have to complete 4 years of college and then go to law school, which is an additional 3 years.
Do you only work in Columbus?
No. Actually, probably half of the work I do is here at headquarters in Columbus, and the rest is in Japan. So I'm in Japan pretty frequently because Aflac has a huge amount of business in Japan. So I have my team here in the U.S. and then a team in Japan as well.
What's the hardest thing about your job to you?
The hardest thing is probably something's always changing. Laws are always changing, and regulations are always changing, and what the government needs you to do in order to sell insurance is always changing. So if you're the kind of person that needs to know all the answers, that's very difficult when things are always changing.
Do you have any regrets?
Not about my job. No, I really don't. I mean, I've had a really rich and blessed life, and so anything that wasn't so great that happened to me, I learned from it, so no regrets.
Well, that's all we have time for today on this interviewee and interviewer. We'll be back with the last interviewee and scholar.
Hello, my name is Alicia Powell, and I'm interviewing Miss Pam Hovey. How are you, Miss Hovey?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be interviewed by you.
Can I ask you a few questions?
Ask away.
What is your favorite part in your job?
Oh, I've been doing this for 11 years. My favorite part now is meeting you kids. You guys make my day.
What are the pros and cons in your job?
I think I have to piggyback on something Miss Daphne said. I love being my own boss, but I sure would love more money.
What is it like working with children?
Ooh, child, you asked a tough one there. Kids are different than adults. I really don't know sometimes what y'all gonna say or what y'all may ask, but what I love about it, y'all are humble. And to see the sparkle in your eyes, like you're looking at me now, when you nail it, it does something to me. It's very rewarding.
What inspired you to do your job?
My parents are both in ministry, and they're with us now. Pastors Will and Emma Willis of Move of God Ministries. I always wanted to promote my church, but inadvertently of promoting them, it ended up promoting me. So I got inspired trying to help them, and now it's inspired me to do something for me too.
Do you travel a lot in your job?
Ooh, yes ma'am. We travel a whole lot. Sometimes I have to agree with something my son said before we got on air. You need a week's break. You do.
Do you mainly work with children or adults?
Both. We have 3 shows we're currently doing now. Inspirational Wholeness, which is adults, then Unity with Pam Networking, Unity with Pam itself, and now Unity with Pam with kids. So actually there's 4 arms to Unity. So yes, we deal with kids and adults.
Is your job hard?
Sometimes it is. My business partner, Red, a.k.a. David Veers, a lot of research. I mean, you're up on that phone 3 a.m., you're constantly finding something, researching something. It is constantly research. When you get on that camera, you've got to know what you're talking about. And you're responsible for what you put out to people because they hang on everything you say, including you being a child.
That's all we have time for right now on Unity with Pam. And thank you for letting me interview you, Miss Pam Hovey.
Thank you for being my student.
Thank you for watching Unity with Pam. If you would like to be a sponsor, please contact us or visit Unity.